Anytime a film can bring in more than 300 million, the sequel is as easy as one, two, three. However, with the movie sequel Iron Man 2, that just wasn't the case with supporting cast actor Terrence Howard, who had a great run in the film's predecessor, Iron Man. In the first film, Howard played Colonel Jim Rose, whose character was played with grace. Seemed like he'd be the best choice to play the same character in the sequel, but unfortunately, he was replaced by Don Cheadle. Howard was the highest paid out of all actors, and yes, that means the star of the show himself, Iron Man. Rumored, it was said that Howard had behavior that was hard to work with. With the film directors unimpressed with Howard's performance in Iron Man, scenes had to be cut and reshot, so when the time for the sequel came around, the film director and screenwriter found themselves decreasing the storyline of Terrence Howard's character. Once Marvel learned that Jon Favreau, the screenwriter, was thinking of curtailing the role of Terrence Howard, the studio went to the actor's agents with a new deal, a reduced offer, a number that's similar to what supporting cast members were paid for their first movie. The agents, according to the sources, were so taken back by this new figure, estimated somewhere between 50 and 80% pay cut, that they questioned it. In the position of Terrence Howard, he wanted what he was supposed to get from signing a three-picture deal. It was going to be a certain amount for the first film, a certain amount for the second, a certain amount for the third, said Howard. They came to me with the second and said, look, we will pay you 1/8 of what we contractually had for you because we think the second one will be successful with or without you. The studio had a position where they only wanted to pay Terrence Howard $1 million for his role as opposed to $8 million. Terrence Howard's interest in this negotiation was that he wanted what was promised to him even before the first installment of Iron Man jumped off. It turns out that the person I helped become Iron Man, when it was time to re-up for the second one, took the money that was supposed to go to me and pushed me out. The film studio had interest that they didn't want to pay $8 million for the character role, and they didn't want to work with Howard from the rumors of his behavior issues in the first installment of Iron Man. Everything they had going was focused around re-signing Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man's character and Colonel Jim Rose being played by Don Cheadle. Three negotiation techniques that I will discuss will be the BATNA, dirty tricks, and objective criteria. When it comes to the BATNA, Jon Favreau, the studio director, didn't want to pay Terrence Howard $8 million, so they offered him $1 million, focused around the purpose of replacing Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. The $1 million was their best alternative. They didn't want to pay the $8 million, so they said, we'll pay you $1 million, which they knew he wasn't going to accept it, so he was going to turn the offer down, and then they were going to have the character wide open to offer it to Don Cheadle, who took the character and did a great job with it. The dirty trick that was used in this negotiation was that Jon Favreau used the rumors that were spread about Terrence Howard's attitude in the first installment of Iron Man to help aid in Marvel Studios replacing Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. The objective criteria that was used in this negotiation was statistics. Since Don Cheadle was the first choice of Marvel Studio to replace Terrence Howard, they used statistics from the film to aid their interest in negotiation. The second, the studio said, we think the movie will be successful with or without you. So instead of $8 million that we said we were going to pay you, we're going to let you come back for $1 million. What went well in this negotiation, to me, was how Marvel got what they wanted. They set out to hire Don Cheadle to replace Terrence Howard with the successful utilization of negotiation techniques known as the BATNA, dirty tricks, and the objective criteria. To me, it seems as if John Favreau might have had a course at Full Sail to successfully achieve the goal of himself and Marvel Studios. But from what I've heard, Marvel believes in being thrift in their negotiations for their future projects. In this negotiation, there were a few things that went wrong. However, the one that I want to touch on is the lack of communication. If Marvel Studios would have talked with Terrence Howard about the rumors concerning his behavior in the first installment of Iron Man, that could have helped Terrence Howard make a decision about the money that they wanted to pay him. Maybe they could have offered him $2 million or $2.5 million to do the character, and instead of just giving them one, they could have came to some kind of consensus of what they want to do. It just seems as if Marvel had their minds made up, and all they wanted to give was $1 million. Is you take this $1 million, or are we gonna hire Don Cheadle, which they wanted to do that anyway. If handled differently, the result of Howard's agent turning down a deal with explicit language could have ended way better than it did. To cut a long story short about this negotiation, no agreement was reached regarding Terrence Howard's return to play Colonel Jim Rose. Jon Favreau and Marvel Studios offered Howard $1 million to play the character instead of the expected $8 million. Howard's agent turned down the deal, so Jon Favreau ended up signing who they really wanted in Don Cheadle. Based off what happened in this negotiation with Terrence Howard, Jon Favreau, and Marvel Studios, there was a stalemate in this negotiation. Since there was a stalemate, one would most likely think that no future window of opportunity could be found, but you never know. With Terrence Howard's success with the hit show Empire, he just might be able to find himself back into the spotlight, negotiating with Marvel Studios for a bigger contract, more than $1 million.